Hello, thank you for joining us today at our welcome session. Today, we would like to welcome you to Maine in the United States. My name is Hani, and I'm the Education USA advisor at the Fulbright Commission in Prague. And today, I have a special guest, Jack Johnson, who is a Fulbright grantee, and he is an ETA, an English teaching assistant in Nový Jičín at Mendelova High School. Thank you for joining us, Jack, today.
Happy to be here.
All right.
So, I have a presentation all about Maine. Okay, so just some quick overview facts about Maine. It is in the northeast part of the United States. It is very north, borders Canada, and it has the Atlantic Ocean to the east and some Appalachian Mountains in the west. So you have a nice combination of the coast, but you also have some mountains. Mm-hmm. So that's a nice special part about Maine. Mm-hmm. And Maine is known maybe for this reason as like vacation land. That's its like slogan. So in the summers, a lot of people will travel from some of their like city lives to vacation in Maine because it is really such a beautiful state with lots of nature and wildlife.
And blueberries?
What was that?
And blueberries?
And blueberries, yes. So Maine is known for its blueberries. In addition to lobster, but it's blueberries. Yeah, there's lots of wild blueberries in Maine, and they're very good. Great blueberry pie. But Maine is also very well known for its lobster and its lobstering business. And there's a picture of a lobster on the bottom right. So lots of lobstermen. And the largest city in Maine is Portland. It's pretty south Maine. But even the largest city, Portland, isn't all that big of a city. It's 68,000 people. So there's that's like the biggest city, and then there's some other smaller cities. But Maine is not. There's not many cities. And another thing, because of its location, being so north, the winters are very snowy and cold, and there's several ski resorts. So people also really enjoy skiing here. Yeah, so here are some like of the highlights that I think Maine has to offer. There's a picture of Portland, Maine. So you can see it's right on the ocean. There's like docks because there's a lot of like fishing boats and lobster boats, and you're able to like walk in the docks and like see them unload like that day's catch. Then in the bottom part of the screen, you can see some of the mountains. So Katahdin Mountain is the largest mountain in Maine. It's also the end of the Appalachian Trail, which is like a long hiking trail that ends in Maine. And there's a picture of the ski mountain. Sugarloaf Mountain is one of the many popular ski resorts to go to in the winter. And then finally, I included a picture of Acadia National Park, which is a national park in Maine on the water. And it's very special and a beautiful place where like the mountains meet the coast. And it's very rocky and jagged coastline.
And so did you grow up in Maine, or did you study in Maine, or both?
That's a great question. So I actually studied in Maine. So I lived there for 4 years. And I had not been before I had gone to college there. And I learned to really love the state. So I think its biggest allure, so like the main reason why people go there, and my favorite part of Maine is the nature and all the outdoor recreation opportunities that it has.
Awesome.
Okay. And because it's like not that big of a state, there's a handful of colleges, but it's a manageable amount to research. So the first college that I would like to talk about is Bates College. That's where I went to school. And it's a small liberal arts college. And what that means is that in your sophomore year or your second year of study, you decide what topic you want to be your main topic of study. But you have the opportunity to take classes in any field that you're interested in. It doesn't have to be related to your major at all. So while I studied neuroscience, I had classes in other fields as well. Really, any field or topic of study I wanted, I could take a class in, which I think is a special thing about Bates, and you get a nice, like, well-rounded education. And here's some pictures. So it's small. It's about 1,800 students. And the campus is really beautiful. And all throughout Maine, the fall is a big tourist attraction because it's like the leaves turn orange and red. And it's a really, really beautiful time to be in Maine.
And so did you know, from the beginning that you will end up with a neuroscience major?
I did not. Okay. No, I didn't know what neuroscience was before I entered college. So I really had the opportunity to take classes in a lot of different things. And one of them was like introduction to neuroscience. And once I took that, I knew that I wanted for that to be my major.
It's great. Like, I really like the idea of having the time and exactly 2 years, to be able to take different classes and to still decide, to be able to decide what to study. So can you give Czech students an example of what classes did you take during the freshman and sophomore year?
Yeah, of course. The really only classes that you have to take at Bates your freshman year is like your first year writing seminar. And that class, you just learn how they like get everyone's like writing ability up to like the same level. And there's like pretty niche topics. So mine was like cultivating social justice through community gardens. So we would like go gardening and like write about it. So it's really like pretty specific classes. But other than that, you're able to you have a lot of freedom in what classes you can choose. So I was interested in the sciences. So I took biology, chemistry. But I also was interested in other things as well. So I took like a French class, a sociology class, what else? Like a political science class. So you could really,
great.
Yeah.
That's really awesome because I know that in the Czech Republic, you have to choose a major, before you enter the university. And it only takes you 3 years to complete your bachelor's degree. But having that freedom, because I know I wasn't ready to pick and choose the major. And it was like a guesswork kind of for me. So having that freedom of studying, for 2 years, taking those classes, and then decide, that is really cool. So
yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I have the freedom to like explore a lot of different fields. And now I think I can I know a little bit about everything, and then I know like neuroscience. I think I still know. I took a lot of classes in that, so I think I still got a good basis for my major topic of study as well.
That's great. And now let me ask you, because you now know that what neuroscience is all about, and you know what Bates College offers regarding this major, but do you know any other colleges like anywhere in the States that would have this major and would be known for something? Because sometimes I have students who are interested in a major rather than in a state.
Yeah.
Where would you suggest them to look at, to look for it?
Yeah, so I think in neuroscience, it's not offered at like every university, um, but I think a lot of universities do offer neuroscience. Um, and for Maine, Bates is well known for, I think, its environmental science majors. But I think at Bates, any topic of study, you would get a good education in. And then other schools, like what else? Like for other schools, the University of Maine, which I will talk about a little bit later, they have like a great like zoology department, which is like talking about like animals and veterinarian science.
Great, awesome.
So Bates is in Lewiston, Maine. So like I said before, there's not many large cities in Maine, but Lewiston is the second biggest city. And even then, it's not very big. You can see by the picture. But it is close to a lot of great like outdoor recreation opportunities, and they have a nice little downtown.
You chose a picture that has like 4 balloons.
Oh yeah. Okay, I have to go back. Oh yeah. So
amazing.
yeah. I forgot about that. So there is like a hot air balloon festival every summer
Okay,
in Lewiston.
that's really cool.
Yeah. So there's some air balloons.
Mm-hmm.
And then just some quick facts
Mm-hmm.
that I could have overlooked. We talked about there's like about 2,000 students at Bates, which is very small compared to most schools. So I think that because of its size, there is a tight knit community, and everyone like I think everyone's very friendly. Bates has a friendly reputation, and I was able to foster a great community there. 24% of students are from underrepresented groups. So despite being a small college, there is a lot of diversity from US students, but there's also a lot of international students at Bates. And there's a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So the classes are pretty small. All of my professors, I think in every class I've taken at Bates, knew my name. It's pretty rare. And Bates offers 36 majors, so main topic of studies, and then 26 minors, which is like your secondary topic of study.
Do you have a major and a minor?
Yeah, so my major was neuroscience, and my minor was anthropology, which is like the study of human culture and like human history. There's a 50-50 gender balance, and 100% of tenured faculty hold the highest degree or PhDs. And I think that the professors at Bates were really great. Okay, and then like 40 minutes away from Bates is Bowdoin College, and they are in the same conference or same group of college. So Bates and Bowdoin would compete against each other. So they're like rivals. But from Bates, I could never tell anybody this, but they're pretty similar. And, yeah. But it's in here are pictures of like its campus. So it's Bates and Bowdoin both have like a small New England college campus feel. If you don't know the United States, it's like a more historic campus. And it's located in Brunswick, Maine. So another small town. But it's a very cute downtown with lots of little shops and stores. And it's closer to the coast, so the beaches are only about like 10 minutes away. And I included a picture of the winter.
Yeah. That's a lot of snow.
Yeah, it snows a lot.
Uh-huh.
Anywhere in Maine, you're sure to get your fair share. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then some quick facts about Bowdoin. Um, it was founded in 1794.
Mm-hmm.
So in the U.S., that's pretty old. Um, it's a little bit larger than Bates, so just under 2,000, but very small. Once again, 9-to-1 teacher ratio, so classes are very small, and there's a good like professor student relationship. 40 majors you can choose from, and oh, in addition, like Bates, which I didn't say, Bowdoin and Bates are both test optional,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to submit your SATs or any type of standardized testing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you just send like your GPA and your classes you've taken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, for international students, they also have to show the English language proficiency test
Okay.
because they have to prove that they speak or understand English. And yeah, but it's great to know that they are SAT optional. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And the last university I decided to highlight is the University of Maine. So this University of Maine is it's bigger um,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a university where Bowdoin and Bates are both colleges, so there's much more students at Maine,
Mm-hmm.
um, and uh, they have both an undergraduate and a graduate program.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where at Bates it's only undergraduate, and at Bowdoin it's only undergraduate.
Mm-hmm.
And there may be, yeah, let's go to the facts. There may be more majors to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And at a university like UMaine, you would probably pick a major earlier on in your
Mm-hmm.
career at the school. And you could take a lot more classes potentially in
Mm-hmm.
that field of study.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know UMaine does a lot of research. So if you're interested in like different research opportunities, there's
Mm-hmm.
plenty in Maine
Mm-hmm.
at UMaine. So like working with a professor on some type of research that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go back. It's so here are pictures of the campus.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, you can tell that in the fall the leaves change and it's very
Beautiful. Yeah.
colorful.
What is the mascot? It looks like a super angry dog.
Yeah, it does. It does look like a ranger dog. It's a black bear.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and it's in a small town
Mm-hmm.
named Orono. Um, and so there's about 9,000 undergraduates,
Mm-hmm.
which is significantly more than Bates and Bowdoin. And they have some graduate students, 50-50 gender split. Um, and there's a lot more faculty, so a lot more professors,
Mm-hmm.
more students. And you can see that there's a 16-to-1 student ratio,
Mm-hmm.
student to faculty ratio. So you would expect bigger classes
Mm-hmm.
um, with at University of Maine. But even here, you can see that 70% of classes are with 40 students or less.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so at a university, there's like different colleges.
Mm-hmm.
So on my right, you can see there's like a business school,
Mm-hmm.
an education school, engineering. Uh, then there's like a whole liberal arts department,
Mm-hmm.
and then a forestry and agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
So like most universities, you would like enroll in like a maybe a certain school within that
Mm-hmm.
university.
Yeah, that's very similar as it is in the Czech Republic right now. So when you studied in Bates, have you got a chance to meet any international students? Were there any?
Yeah, so there were, I think, a strong international student community
Mm-hmm.
at Bates. Um, and one of my friends was an international student from India.
Mm-hmm.
And she like I think found a good community, the international students.
That's great. And my other question would be regarding sports, maybe, because sometimes I have students asking, if they can combine education and sports. So maybe if you can talk about the Bates College, if there were any divisions and what kind of sport did you play?
Yeah. So I was a varsity athlete on the swim team for 4 years, and that definitely was, I think, like a big part of my college experience. And but so Bowdoin and Bates are both Division III schools, so there's usually less of a commitment than like Division I. But and then University of Maine is Division I. But the Division III schools like at Bates and Bowdoin, they're at least for swimming, they're pretty top notch. So like we would swim University of Maine, and even though because they're D1, like Bates and Bowdoin would still both be UMaine.
Nice.
Even though UMaine is supposed to be Division I and they give out scholarships, but I think the sports at Bowdoin would be pretty similar to Bates, where when you're in season, there's a high commitment to your sport, but because it's Division III, on your off seasons, you have more freedom to do other things, which I found really valuable. I was able to like take classes that had field trips, which was really cool, and I was able to do some other like recreational activities in my off season instead of being in the pool all the time. So sports, I think, are a big part of my experience, and you would expect people go to like football games. University of Maine has a really great hockey team, like top notch. So I know that people at UMaine enjoy ice hockey.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
And one thing I did not add, which could be useful, so both at Bates, it's a special, unique calendar semester-wise. So there's 2 normal semesters, and then there's 1 month-long semester in the spring, and it's known as short term. And you only have to take it 2 times in your 4 years at Bates. And you take only one class for that month. And there are opportunities for that class to, well, first of all, like it's just one class and it's like a specific niche. But there's also classes that you can take that travel. So I took a class at Bates, but we went to like Alaska for 3 weeks.
Wow, for school? That's amazing.
And there's like abroad opportunities that month at Bates, which I think is pretty unique and not offered at most schools. And Bowdoin has a similar thing, but in the winter, where you in the month of January, called J term, is Bowdoin now. You take one specific class. And I'm not sure if there's abroad opportunities, but a similar schedule.
That's great. That's really interesting. Okay, so even for you, like even for Czech students being internationals in the US, they can be even more international, going elsewhere with the school, getting credits for the course, or the subject. So that's great.
Exactly. And at all 3 universities, you can study abroad usually your junior year for a semester. If you choose, you don't have to.
Okay, great. Awesome. So I think that this is all for Maine. Thank you so much, Czech. Thank you all guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to follow up with us on through email under advisor@fulbright.cz or through social media under EducationUSA Czech. You can also post your questions underneath this live stream, and we'll be happy to get in touch and answer any supplemental questions. So Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jack, again.
Of
It
course.
was my pleasure to be here today. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.